So around 3:15 this morning, someone passing by this area headed to work noticed the fire. They went to the home that is situated to the side of this garage apartment to address those who live there, to let them know that the fire was there. The fire department arrived pretty quickly. However, because of the intensity of the flames, they were unable to get into the apartment. As we've certainly mentioned, unfortunately, this morning earlier, there were 2 victims that were located. At this time, we have confirmed 3 victims in this fire. One of them is a 38-year-old female and her 2 children, a 7-year-old girl and a 2-year-old boy. The victims were located at this time, based on what they can determine of the particular property, which would have been, again, an upstairs apartment, garage apartment, 2 bedrooms, living room, kitchen. The one victim, the 2-year-old, was believed to have been found at the top of the stairs that would have been to the exit of the home. The adult would have been found in a bathroom area, and then the 7-year-old was found in what they believe to be one of the bedrooms closer to the front right side of the home. Obviously, at this time, we have not had a chance to really get going on that cause investigation, as there were structural elements to this fire that made it difficult for the firefighters to get inside, as well as unsafe for the search of those victims. But since they have been found now, the coroner's office is dealing with that scene at the time. Once that is done, the investigation into the cause of this fire will be underway relative to scene assessment. Certainly, we've got several folks here, great partnership with St. John Parish Fire Department and the St. John Sheriff's Department, working all of the outside elements that go with an investigation. At this time, however, there is nothing that they are considering to be suspicious.
You mentioned that this is an apartment. Was there another unit attached to this as well, unoccupied, or is this the only standing livable area?
Maybe apartment isn't the best phrase. There is a home, a single-story, single home, and then this is the garage that's associated with that home, and then this is just a living space above the garage.
And they were all 3 were in the living space?
In the living space above the garage, yes, where the fire occurred.
What goes through your mind when you guys come to a scene like this from a state agency standpoint?
Oh, well, certainly having knowledge from the beginning that we were going to be dealing with loss of life is always devastating. To then learn that there is a child, possibly more than one child, is just very hard to swallow. Certainly for the fire department, they would have to talk about, they're the first ones in there to make that discovery. They're the ones who let us know. So to hear this happening is certainly devastating. We absolutely want to know that cause, because if there's a way to prevent this, and usually there is, we want to make sure everyone else knows so that doesn't happen to them as well.
Anybody else, Ashley?
As far as the time, I know you guys said around 4 a.m. Is that the time that you got the call from the person that drove by, or is that the time that the fire started leaving?
Our original information relative to 4 o'clock was updated to reflect a 3:15 911 call time.
Move to Chief. Chief, just give us your first, last name, spell it for us.
Chief Kane Dufresne, Dufrene, St. John Parish Fire Department.
This is your community. What goes through your mind saying this?
Well, this is tragic. You know, we hate to go to fires where you have a loss of life, especially when it's a loss of life with children. You know, my guys, they're dealing with it the best they can. You go in there and you find stuff like that. You can't imagine how it is to come across a little kid in there. You know.
Kind of explain to me the response from your guys here.
Yeah, so we got here within 5 minutes. We made our initial response. The guys got here, saw heavy flames throughout the whole structure. Quickly knocked down the fire, keep the fire from spreading any further than what it was, and then quickly try to secure the scene and make entry into the building to identify if the occupants were in fact inside of the building.
I mean, small community around here. I'm sure a lot of folks know who these people are. Do you happen to have any idea?
I do not. I do not.
How long did it take to put out the fire?
I'm not sure exactly how long it took. We kind of, whenever we know there's life inside, we kind of take our time with that. So it took a little longer to get the actual fire completely under control. You know, we don't want to go in there crazy and do things. So
you guys arrived and other residents told you there were people inside?
Correct.
And so then, were you all able to get into the residence at all?
No, the fire was too extensive when we arrived on scene. They saw the flames when they turned on the street, so it was going before we got here.
So y'all had to knock it down before you could even attempt that.
Correct.
So describe the process. What's happening now? Where are we in the stage?
So right now, the scene's been over to the state fire marshal. They're the lead on the investigation, so they're conducting their investigation right now.
Do you need me to address that question?
Yeah, if you
That's
can.
from the fire marshal's
It is
office?
from our office. So again, at this moment, the coroner's office is doing its work. What's going to be happening following that is that we call a scene assessment. So our folks will be doing a various amount of things, scientific based, to try to follow the fire science. What has happened right now and before now sort of the ancillary work. You've got an opportunity to, as you've mentioned, put a drone up and to be able to get an above look. There's been certainly surveillance camera, what's the word I'm looking for? Not surveying, but I'll figure it out. But they've been looking for surveillance cameras around the area to help with this. Interviews, just getting information about the residents, their backgrounds, their habits, their routines, their locations, and then of course doing an actual scene assessment, a diagram of that home, just to get all of the bearings before they start doing that scene assessment to make sure they know where that fire started and how it started.
I know it's very preliminary, but have you gotten any type of word of, I heard an explosion, a loud noise, a boom, a pop, any of that?
Not at all. Somebody just drove by, saw that fire, stopped, and started banging on the door to get everyone's attention. I will say something that we oftentimes, unfortunately, have to say is that at this time we have not found the presence of any working smoke alarms. We say it time and time again that smoke alarms can and do save lives every day. We can prepare as best as we can to be fire safe, but at the end of the day, things happen. And smoke alarms can help alert us when things are happening to get us out safely.
What about a fire extinguisher? You found that?
Don't know about that at this point. Certainly that their focus up to this point going into the building was to find those victims, and now they're working to look for that origin and cause, but that'll certainly be something finding any opportunity for fire suppression will be fine.